What's up, my friends? Jameson Brandon here, and I want to shoot this video specifically talking about Ronda Rousey and UFC 193 that just happened. And obviously we got Holly with the upset. I want to talk about all of that, and I also want to talk about really what makes somebody like Rhonda a winner, like what consistently makes her the best, right? So at that level, the level in which she's playing at, there's not skills that are really the defining and differentiator. It's really just mindset, right? So I want to give you the key mindset pieces that somebody like Ronda Rousey is using, and that somebody like Holly used to actually upset the champ. And then we'll also talk about what this really means for somebody like Rhonda. So let's go ahead and get started. So understand at this level that it's not skill set anymore, right? Like the level of the Michael Jordans of the world, the Tiger Woods of the world, it's not skill set anymore. It's the mental game. So how they show up mostly has to do with mentally instead of physically. Now obviously you have sometimes people show up out of shape. They show up not at their physical best, but that's usually quite rare. The big pieces and the big indicators are usually the mental mindset. Like, what is my belief in myself? So understand something, like Rhonda's belief in herself is at a cellular level at this point. And I'm going to tell you the kind of framework that she uses to accomplish this. Meaning that when she wakes up in the morning, there is not a single cell in her body that doesn't think that she's great, that doesn't think that she's the best in the world. And this is the same for somebody like, you know, the Jordans of the world, the Tiger Woods of the world, is that they wake up every single day and every part of themselves believes in their greatness. Now that's quite different than somebody else that is, let's say, a regular, 9-to-5 job, or they've just got a family and kids. They're often running scripts and running patterns on themselves that, oh, I'm not significant, I'm not a hero, I'm not the best. And it's very, very different, because understand something, you're a hero to at least one person in your life. The only difference is that you're not telling yourself that every day. The pro athletes and the peak performers of the world, they're not only hearing that from everyone else around them, but they're believing it. They're digesting that, they're chewing that, they're bathing in that all day long. So that's the difference between somebody like her and a regular person walking down the street, is that they just have what? They have more proof and evidence of their greatness. So how does somebody, let's say, go from like a regular Joe to a Ronda Rousey of the world? Understand that this can be a short time, like the frame of and the distance from A to B can be very short, but it does take time. And the reason why is because you have to shift the level of belief in yourself. And so more specifically, what you're looking for, and this is what beliefs are kind of formed on and based on, is proof and evidence. So what do I mean by that? Well, if I were to ask you why you believe anything that you believe to be true in this world, you would have what? You would have proof and evidence to tell me. You would have a reason why you believe this, right? So if that's the case for all these viewpoints and all these beliefs that I have of the world, then one could assume that this is the same way I build new beliefs. Well, we don't have to assume that, and this isn't based on theory, that's actually based by science and backed up by science. That's actually how it works. And I could get into deep talk about neuroplasticity and how the brain works, but we'll save all that. Just understand and know that beliefs are built on proof and evidence. So, how do we get proof and evidence that we're great? Well, we have to increase our awareness. So we have to start looking for examples in everyday life of our greatness, or of this thing that we're looking to accomplish. So whether I'm just looking to be better at running my business, or become an entrepreneur, or better with my wife and kids, or something more, let's say, dramatic than that, all I really need is proof and evidence. So as I increase my awareness towards the things that are happening on a day-to-day basis, I'm starting to see that there are things that are happening. There is the proof and evidence that I need. And that helps me kind of propel and take a big quantum leap from where I'm at to where I actually want to go in terms of my beliefs. And so you look for this evidence every single day, and you start stacking it, and you start celebrating these wins, and you start saying, oh, actually that's a victory. Again, another difference between that type of mindset and your everyday person is your everyday person is discrediting everything good that's happening to them. They're saying that it was just luck, that it was just this one time, or that it was this special circumstance, and they'll give reason for this special circumstance. So what is all that doing? It's presupposing that these things shouldn't happen on a regular basis, and it's discrediting me for my greatness. So you have to get rid of those, and you have to become aware of those things and those scripts as you're running them, to then lower the power that they have and get rid of them. And so you're looking for the exact opposite. So celebrate those wins as you get them. And then what you'll notice over time is that this will start to build, and your viewpoint will be different, meaning that the internal dialogue that you have most of the time will shift from something like this is luck to, yeah, this is how everyday life should be. I wake up every single day and life should be like this. So there's a massive shift that starts to happen between the two. That is the predominant reason why somebody like Ronda Rousey is always winning. Now, obviously she lost, so what happened? One could blame conditioning, and all the people that probably have zero experience with UFC and MMA fighting will come out of the woodworks and naturally give their opinion about why she lost and why Holly won. None of that matters. At the core level, Holly wanted it more than Rhonda did. That's it. That's the reason. That's the simple reason. And everything else, all the little sub-reasons, all stem from Holly wanted it more. So at a core level, her belief in deserving this title and deserving this win against Rhonda was bigger. That's why she won. So what does this really mean for somebody like Ronda Rousey? Well, in the broad scheme of things, it doesn't mean shit. Like, this isn't going to stop her from competing again. This isn't going to stop her from being great. This isn't going to stop her from being a champion in the future. If anything, this will actually propel her to be greater. So one could argue that this is the best thing that actually happened to her in her entire career, because what it showed is it showed that she should be more humble and have more humility, and she should come to the table and she should come to a fight more correct. So whether it was a belief thing or a physical conditioning thing, she now has examples of what not to do, and she can use that to more positively build what she should be doing. So she can reflect back to her wins and look at this loss and say, here's what I did here, here's what I did here, grab these things, get rid of those things, and now I have a better formula to use and apply to show up to the next fight better. And so for her, this will actually probably just make her better and make her greater. Whereas, again, let's reflect and compare to the average person. The average person, a loss like this, they would just go and run and hide. They wouldn't want to come out of their house. They would be embarrassed. They would want to really pretty much avoid the world. And why? It's just because they're afraid. Because a loss like this is seen as such a bigger thing in their mind than a champion. A champion doesn't look at a loss as a loss. It's just another learning lesson. It's a growth piece. And they can then take those things and become better. Whereas your regular, typical person, let's call it, would look at this as something detrimental. This would be like an entire career killer. And so that's the difference between the two. I hope you've gotten a lot of value out of this video. If you have, and you know somebody that's going to benefit from it, comment, like, share, spread this around so that more people can get exposed to this material and this training and information. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next video.